I still very much remember a time from way back when I was a kid in the early aughts, let's say, in the early 2000s, when the internet was fun. YouTube didn't have ads. Google wasn't trying to unindex or bury websites for this or that or any reason. And there was a lot more character, for the lack of a better term, when it came to how the internet felt, looked, and acted like, I guess. It was an immersive space, one that you could very well get lost in, but it was, to a certain extent, encouraged. I remember coming home from school, hopping onto the family computer to engage in some good old RuneScape fun with a couple of friends from school and some other people that we knew. And that was a world where the main goal of RuneScape and other such social spaces, be it games or forums or just spaces online where you could interact with people. The goal of those spaces was to get lost in them, and they had a lot to offer. That's why you, at the end of the day, ended up getting drawn to whatever they were offering. They gave a lot, and they asked for your time. I guess pretty generously, right? But then you would log off and go about your day. There was a clear line between being on the net, being online, being immersed in cyberspace, and being offline, IRL, as part of the analog world, I guess. Nowadays, that's not. The line is pretty much non existent. You are almost expected to be either just reachable or, responsive at all times within cyberspace in particular. And that kind of also feeds back into your real life. So when people send you emails for work and shit, you're expected to respond in a timely manner so that the things in the offline world would proceed as planned. That's a very weird state of things, one that I'm still, even though it may seem inconsequential, one that I'm still not used to, and it's still something I'm struggling with myself. Of course, talking about the line between online and offline stuff, work and non-work, work and rest and unrest. um, all of those lines are very much blurred for me, especially lately. But I would argue, albeit to a lesser extent, that I was always struggling with trying to clearly define and seek out those lines and boundaries. I made a lot of friends online. I made a lot of friends in cyberspace. Some of them I've known for 20 plus years at this point, which is also something insane to trip on. And yeah, this technology changed my life, as I'm sure it did for a lot of other people. That seems obvious, right? Seems self-evident at this point. With just how normified and with just how normified, excuse me, and normified as well, of course, and just how accessible and widely accepted the internet is as not just a medium, but as like a space, a place. Yeah, it's not. I'm trying to figure out suitable alternatives to the more annoying parts of the internet. Again, back in the day, there was little to no ads online, Web 1.0 was known for basically, essentially just being read only. After, with the advent of YouTube and blogs and more visual stuff, I guess, images, video, interactive hyperlinks, and shit like that. Web 2.0 came along, and thus came the dreaded hellscape that is contemporary social media. At least, the big ones. The big ones are supposed to emulate the social aspects of the internet and at the same time condense it so that a couple of select names could own the means of cyber communication, which I guess is pretty self-explanatory as to why that's bad at this point in time. I've been trying to revert back to using outdated or revamped technology, and also just immerse myself in spaces online that are offering not necessarily an escape, but like an exit from the mainstream internet. I've been writing a Substack blog for a couple of years now. I also recently launched a spin-off blog that basically only uses, I think it's HTML5, if I'm not mistaken. I can post images, but I must just stick to text and hyperlinks. It looks very retro, it looks very old, and I like the simplicity of it as well. We of Faust Collective also launched a mailing list a couple of days ago. It's semi-internal. I don't think anyone would be against me linking it here in the description. It's for, communication, sharing experts from books, sharing ideas, sharing thoughts with each other, and just, it's an attempt of making the cyberspace fun again, right? It's an attempt at trying to figure out how to navigate the stale nature of it all, I guess, and an attempt at dealing with that. I don't know. I'm not a fan of where things are going currently, despite my baseline techno-optimism that I'm not hiding at all. Probably never will. But still, I feel like the time has come to reclaim what was ours. There's just some thoughts that I've been having about this whole thing. Huge thanks to fellow YouTuber Osaka Syndrome for helping me realize that this is a path I want to go down on. This is the path I want to go down. Yeah, resources in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one, and good night.